People of the Realm, I've recently been rereading the Tyrion and Grift chapters in A Dance with Dragons, and it's really gotten my spider sense a tingling. Literally. For even though these chapters contain a lot of people pretending to be other people, I'm actually going to talk about another person who may have been involved in Varis' web, and that is Gregor Clegane. Westerosi and Isosi. Just a friendly warning that if you haven't read A Dance with Dragons, this video may contain spoilers, but I'll try and keep them at a bare minimum. Hope you all enjoy. We know very little about Gregor Clegane before the fall of the Targaryens, but here's what we do know. House Clegane was established when Gregor's grandfather was the kennel master at Castle Rock. He saved the life of the then Lord Paramount Tyrion Lannister, and was promptly rewarded with a seat known as Clegane's Keep as well as his official lordship. Although not mentioned, we do know that Gregor's father died in a hunting accident after Robert Baratheon was actually crowned. Earlier, when Gregor was 11 or 12, his brother Sandor stole his favourite toy, which happened to be a wooden knight. And as a result, Gregor, who now stood almost 6 foot tall at this age, held his brother's face over a hot brazier as punishment that scarred his brother for life. A few years later, before the tourney at Harrenhal, Gregor is then knighted by none other than Rhaegar Targaryen. Towards the end of the Mad King's rule, it has been decided that Elia Martell and her children shall remain in Maegor's Holdfast, which is at the centre of the Red Keep, and they will be kept there as guests. Aerys had in fact grown so distrustful that his daughter-in-law and his grandchildren were actually used as hostages to secure the Dornish loyalty. This was one of many mistakes that the Mad King made, and it would lead to all of their ends. It's very clear to me that Varis has manipulated the Mad King and planted the seeds that grew into the distrust for Dorne and the imprisonment of his family members. We all know what happened next. Rhaegar dies on the Trident, Jaime kills the Mad King, and Tyrion sacks King's Landing. Rhaenys is stabbed countless times by Sir Armory Larch, whilst Aegon's head is caved in by Gregor Clegane, who then goes on to rape and murder Elia Martell. The question I pose is this: why did Gregor effectively deface the child? Well, there are 3 possibilities. Possibility number 1 is that Gregor is Gregor, brutal, heartless and without mercy, a man loyal to House Lannister, so what else would you actually expect? This is completely plausible given what we know about the man right now. But what about the Gregor Clegane of this time, who was a young man who has gained his knighthood from Rhaegar himself? Does he seem like such a man that Rhaegar would actually knight him? It seems odd that he would then go on to kill the only known son and wife of the man who had honoured him only a few years previous. Possibility number 2. Gregor is in the employ of Rhaegar and Varis and was a pawn in a backup plan to save the heir should the proverbial hit the fan, which it indeed did. Now his part in this plan would obviously be to kill the boy in the room in such a way that would leave his identity somewhat questionable. So I want you to think about it. If there was a plot by Varis to save Aegon, who better to cover his tracks than by using a known Lannister man who has ties to Rhaegar? If everyone believed the heir to the realm to be dead, then baby Aegon would truly be safe. And by killing him in such a way, it allows people to assume the death and also leaves the door open in the future for Aegon's return. Now what would Gregor like in return for this? And I think that's simple. Varis would arrange for Lord Clegane, who's Gregor's father, to be killed in a hunting accident and therefore making Gregor head of his house. Now I did mention that I had 3 possibilities, and that's where we have one small problem about this theory. Although both the things I have posed to you are utterly plausible, I believe both of them to be a complete and utter lie. And more than that, Gregor Clegane, I believe, is innocent of this crime. He's been a victim of propaganda, a victim of a smear campaign against him, and I'm going to talk about this more in part 2. So what do you think of what I've posed so far? Are the two main possibilities I've given you that Gregor is just simply an evil man, or was Gregor part of the plot in order to save Aegon? Do you believe in the likelihood of one over the other, or do you subscribe to myself, in which I say that Gregor has been used as a get out of jail free card? He is the man with a reputation that is going to be built on this lie. As always, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed the content, and don't forget to change your family name to Frey if you haven't. As always, remember, I am the Northlander, you know nothing, and neither do I. I'll see you guys in part 2.